Homemade creme brulee. Egg custard to those of you who don't know what that is. Yeah, the cat makes a mess sometimes.
So how are things going, hey?
Well, my back's been killing me.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks. Did you get to talk to Scott?
Yeah, I did. I called him earlier today, right before he ate dinner.
Oh, that's good. I was surprised you didn't call me yesterday.
Well, I had a good Mother's Day. I did mommy stuff. I did ironing and cleaning and vacuuming and stuff that moms do. Picking up after others, right, Thrall? Just kidding about the Thrall part. And I had creme brulee that I made for dessert. Very tasty. I got to talk to Scott and Brian. And they're doing okay. And I don't know if your mother has ever done it. My mother used to, and I do it to my kids. Maybe it's just that we're weird. But we would recall the day that they were born. The kind of things that were going on. Like Brian. He is 33 years old as of Saturday, the 7th. The day before Mother's Day. And he was born the day before Mother's Day, 33 years ago. It was a Saturday. I didn't feel that good when I awoke in the morning, and I knew that was the day. So I did what I had to do around the house, and then I had a lie down. And at that time, Star Wars had a radio program, it was like 5 or 6 hours long of a radio program on public radio. And my ex wanted to listen to it. And I said, okay. Well, I started getting into labor before the program was over, and I said, I think we have to go to the hospital. We're not going anywhere until this program's over. Yeah, that's the kind of marriage I had. And finally it was over, and he decided to take a shower and brush his teeth and everything else. Well, we got to the hospital about 10 minutes to 6. Brian was born at 6:37. At that time, we did not have insurance. We were a charity case, so the doctor came in, was called away from his daughter's graduation party, and he was not very happy to be called away, especially for a charity case. He was drunker than a skunk, but he was one of those doctors that everybody didn't do anything unless the doctor said so, because he was one of those, thought he was God, one of those kind. So he came in, and Brian wasn't being born fast enough, so he brought out these giant salad tong things, plonk, and ripped out Brian. And couldn't wait for the placenta to be born itself, which happens also. So he ripped that out and tore my insides up. Signed the birth certificate and left. Brian was okay. He was sleeping in the nursery, and I was bleeding to death. My insides were all cut up. They were all nicked up and ripped, and the nurse took me down to an emergency operating room at the end of the hall, and she and 3 other nurses stitched me up and packed me full of gauze and everything, and I had a couple extra days at the hospital because of this. I wasn't real happy about it. Brian was born at 6:37 p.m. and weighed 9 pounds 3½ ounces and was a 22 inches long baby. It was a good sized baby. Yeah, especially for a first baby. Oh. I worked at a dental lab, and I liked that work. I liked that job. My ex, even though he was not employed, didn't want to bother watching after the baby. So I took and dropped Brian off at my mom's house. Grandma watched him while I worked, and then I'd take him home in the evening. And I worked at this dental lab until I was pregnant with Scott. And as soon as they found out I was pregnant again, it was, well, you're going to have child after child. So, bye. They can't do that now. There's laws against that kind of thing now. They can't just fire you just because you're pregnant. But with Scott, Brian was sitting on the front porch playing with little cars and stuff, and my water broke. And when your water breaks, you have within 24 hours the baby will be born. So I started kind of panicking because people told me that it goes quicker with the second one, blah, blah, blah. So I started panicking a little, and Charles, my ex, said, well, my mom and dad said they'll watch Brian tonight. So we'll clean up Brian and we'll take him up to Grandma's. And we'll drop him off. Okay. So we did that. We got back home and Charles decided to take a shower and brush his teeth and everything else. We finally got to the hospital at 11 at night. And the hospital said, well, we can admit you now. Or if you can wait till after midnight, then you won't have to go home tomorrow because you only get 2 days in the hospital with insurance. We had insurance for this one. And so I said, well, I can wait till midnight. I waited fine. Charles was tired. He went off and found a bed to fall asleep in. And I was in labor. When it wasn't going, I walked back and forth in the halls until I could feel pressure. And then I got chickened out and lay back down in the bed. And finally in the morning, there were a whole bunch of student nurses and stuff there. Apparently, I let out a groan that midwives and people that have birthed babies know that means a baby's going to be born. And I had a doctor, 3 nurses, and 20 nursing students all come in this little room. I should have sold tickets. Scott was born at 8:02 in the morning and weighed 8 pounds 2 ounces and was 21 inches long. See, moms can remember stuff like that. Now, if you ask them, you know, did you get the potato chips I asked you for at the store? What? Well, we can remember birth things like that. So that's what happened on the days my kids were born. And they grew up to be great people. They're great from the inside out, and that's what matters. And they're wonderful men, and I'm very proud of them, and I love them dearly. I was so glad I got to talk to them today, and I hope I haven't talked too long. I don't have my glasses on to look, but hopefully I'll have more fun stuff this week. I've been cleaning and sorting and wanting to sew something, so yeah, got stuff lined up. I just need to come up with some really interesting, entertaining stuff. I don't have an accent. I could put one on. I don't have cute little children. I have a fat cat, but... oh, he heard me say fat. Yeah. What else is interesting that's going to happen around here? I don't know. But we'll find something. And Wednesday's always Whoop Whoop Wednesday, where I have a joke for you. Until then, upward and onward.